Good morning. It's Thursday, November 9th. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Shar-Day Campbell. I serve as HCC's Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager. Pleased to be joined by my co-host, Lana Pigao, who is the Northwest College Communications Director. Good morning, Lana. Good morning, Lana. Are you having
Good
some
morning.
technical?
How are you?
All right, there you are. There we are
I
on
am
this good, cloudy Thursday. How are you doing?
good. It rained a little bit on my way in.
It did. It did. Really, really tested our resilience in making it here on time. But we are here. Can you tell everyone how to find Up to the Minute across all of our platforms?
Absolutely. We are live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, and we're on YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
All right, thank you for that. Well, today we'll be joined by Dr. Miranda Phillips, who's the Program Director for Workforce Innovations, Education, and Training at MD Anderson Cancer Center. Good morning, Miranda.
Good morning.
All right, pleased to have you on the show today. This is my understanding you and Lana are old friends, so you all are going to have a great conversation in just a second. But first, we're getting ready for Veterans Day with Jason Williams, who's the Deputy Director of Harris County Veterans Service Department. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Shar-Day, for having me.
So happy to have you. We're gearing up for our Veterans Day celebration on Friday here at HCC, but many of our veterans have to access services outside of the institution. So really happy to have you on so people know what's available. So tell us a little bit about the Veterans Service Department and how it's formed and what can people expect around what services you offer.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a quick background. Harris County has had a veterans office since World War II, since the 1940s. However, we recently became a standalone department. And anybody that knows anything about government and how they operate, that's fairly significant. What that did is now we report directly to the county judge and county commissioners. And what that's done is open the door. So we have direct access to them to, voice veteran concerns, veteran issues out in our local community. That happened 3 years ago. That's also when I came on board with the county. We have grown from a staff of 2. We are now up to 22 individuals in that department. And so they have, being able to go directly to them and talk about issues such as suicide, justice involved issues, mental health issues, these kinds of things. Now we were able to kind of maybe open their eyes to some of the issues that are out there. And they were able to give us some resources to man an office to go out and handle that.
Yes, I mean, as an organization that is deeply connected to and regulated by the government, understand how big of a milestone that was for the department. And, there's always a lot of work that has to be done to help veterans in a lot of different areas of wellness. And you mentioned now that there's a better line of communication for our governmental leaders to understand that. Now, one thing that I do communications, and I think, everything has a brand, right? And that brand is what can you expect from a particular service. So I think people have grown to expect, when I'm getting access to these services, it may be a delay, but you all have a unique approach to delivering service with the recon team and the faster model. So please share that with everyone.
Yeah, so we're a little bit unique when it comes to the counties across the country. Everybody in the state of Texas is required to have what's called a veteran service office. Of course, we're the largest county in Texas, so we have a significant amount of needs. There's about 200,000 veterans here just in Harris County. If you include the surrounding counties, we're pushing about 350 veterans when you include the surrounding counties. So the FASTER model stands for find, assess, stabilize, treat, reassess, and reintegrate. And that's just kind of a model we use. About 1 out of every 5 or so veterans who get out of service will really isolate themselves and have like serious major issues. Well, in a population the size of Harris County, that's about 10 to 12,000 veterans. So that's pretty significant. And so we use this model to just kind of have a forum in which we can go out and operate our criteria out in our community. So you mentioned the justice involved. Something we do that's unique is we go inside the county jails, and we work with our veterans in there. There's about 300 veterans in the Harris County Jail on any given day. Roughly about 25 to maybe even 2,700 went through there last year. So that's pretty significant. And that's actually getting national attention, not just for Harris County, but just the veteran population altogether. So one of the things we do that's unique is we go out and find our veterans. We don't, just say, hey, we got a nice office over here. Come see us whenever you need us. We're actually going to the jails, going out into the streets, working with other organizations. Obviously, we have a very close relationship with the VA. In fact, we just received a federal VA grant. We are one of only 2 counties in the United States to receive this grant. The other one is upstate New York, and one of only 31 nonprofit organizations to receive this grant. So we're very proud of that. That also opened the door for us to work with our surrounding counties. A lot of times they just don't have the resources in some of the smaller counties that we may have here in Harris County. So we're just trying to, I often say we're filling in gaps where other organizations can't or won't or whatever. And so that's basically kind of the role we have taken on. But again, it's unique. A lot of, especially county organizations, don't go out in the community, get into the streets, get into the jails. We call it the dirty side. A lot of people want to deal with the employment side or the volunteering side, but what about those who are homeless? What about those who, have substance issues? What about those who are in and out of jail and it's breaking up families, and that leads to other issues, loss of job and all these kinds of things. So we're very ingrained working with our MCOT teams, working with the Harris County Sheriff's Department, and working, building close relationships with the VA. So so much of service delivery looks at outcomes as opposed to the causes. And so I'm so happy to hear that you all are using the data to understand where they are so you could go to where they are. Now, you mentioned a lot of different agencies, and that can become confusing to veterans to know who to go to for what. So a veteran who is maybe listening and may be interested in your services, what would you tell them? When is the time to engage with you? So that's funny you mentioned that. A lot of people say we're a one-stop shop. I say we're more like a one-start shop, okay? I can't solve everybody's problems. Everyone's unique. Everyone has different situations, but I think we're a pretty good place to start. If it's something we don't do, we'll, find out, where to send you, who does what, and we'll work with you to try to figure that out. I would say our bread and butter actually is the claims and benefits. That's the one thing we're mandated by the state of Texas to do. And that is definitely probably more than half of our business. Oftentimes people come to us for one thing, and as you peel those onion layers back, you find out there's other underlying issues that may have gotten them to the situation they came to see us. So all our staff is trained in recognizing some of those things, also asking probing questions here and there so we can find out if there are other needs or other issues under the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. And how can someone find out about you? Give us a website, a phone number. How can someone connect with you all?
Yeah, so our phone number is 281-876-6600. And harrisvets.com will take you to our website. And there's also lots of information on there. It is a continual update and on our website, but there's also a service ticker in there. So you can get a hold of us online as well.
Thank you so much, Jason, for joining us. We'll keep all those services you provide in mind for our veteran family and friends. We'll have all your info posted after the show for anyone who wants to access these services or know someone who would benefit from the services. Thank you so much for joining us, Jason.
Thank you, Shar-Day. Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right, Lana, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Great. So we're now going to talk to Dr. Miranda Phillips. She is the Program Director of Workforce Innovations for the Education and Training Department of MD Anderson Cancer Center. Hello, Dr. Phillips. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So why don't we just dive right in? Tell us about what's going on with you and your partnership with HCC.
So we actually signed our MOU with HCC last August. So this is fairly new, this initiative still. We're a little bit over a year in, and we've taken great strides in that year. So we started this talking about, I believe our initial conversations were about starting a culinary apprentice program. But what we started with was phlebotomy. That was our first apprenticeship pathway. And it took a while to get our MOU together, as things do. But we have really exploded in the last year. We've added several pathways. We have several in the works. I really think that we will see our partnership taking off in several different directions, not just in healthcare apprenticeship pathways, but also other areas of the institution as well.
So what sparked this need for starting an apprenticeship pathways with HCC at MD Anderson?
So we're always looking at innovative ways to increase our workforce pipeline. And this is a great way to tap into HCC student population, students who are going through their didactic training, who can flow seamlessly into apprenticeship program at the institution. And that's a very symbiotic relationship. It helps HCC to place their students into lucrative career pathways with supports in place, but it also helps us to tap into their student population, a trained population, for a lot of hard to fill and often positions that have a lot of that turn over a lot. So it's good for both of us. And this was something that we originally ventured into with Dr. Robinson. She had a lot of really innovative ideas. The apprenticeship hub had just gotten launched, and she was really on the ground floor of this with us and kind of held our hand through it and helped us to walk through the process. So it's been a true partnership.
Right. So what are some of the ways in which our partnership makes this venture effective and worthwhile for both HCC and MD Anderson?
So when you hire someone, even if they have the education, even if they say we hire someone, I'll just choose a patient care tech apprentice, a CNA. Say they have their certified nurse aid certification, we hire them off the street. They may not make it very long. It's very fast paced. It's often very, very stressful for a new PC coming into the system. With HCC, we have a lot of extra supports with our apprenticeship programs. So we have a new CNA apprentice coming on. You know, one thing we noticed, I'm going to just give an example. We noticed early on that a lot of our apprentices were struggling with some of the charting, some of the electronic charting, that they needed more training. Communicated with our partners at HCC, and they immediately instituted a week-long electronic charting training while they were in their onboarding for apprentices. And that's just one of many, many examples of any time we come across an obstacle that any of our apprentices are facing, we communicate with our partners at HCC and they find workarounds. So it is wonderful to have those extra supports, because it really does help them to get through that initial onboarding period that is often a struggle for people that are new into those positions.
So can you tell us what some of the pathways are with the apprenticeships that you're partnering with us? I know you mentioned some phlebotomy and CNA.
Absolutely.
What else are you?
So right now we currently have several phlebotomy apprentices. We have several patient care techs, which are CNA apprentices that are and several more onboarding. We also have culinary pathways that are starting up for chef, for wait staff. So these are the three that we have live and active right now, but we also have plans for others in the works. We are looking at starting an endoscopy program for endoscopy techs. With your endoscopy program, we will have them starting in January. And that will actually be the first endoscopy technician registered apprenticeship program in the nation. So that's kind of exciting. That's something that we'll be doing first with you guys.
So when I think of MD Anderson, of course, I think of healthcare. So how is it the culinary apprenticeship fits in with MD Anderson?
Well, think about, it's healthcare primarily, but it's 23,000 people employed at MD Anderson. You think about the whole hospital system and taking care of our patients in myriad ways, not just the healthcare piece, but they have to be fed. They have to be, we have a huge culinary department that services those patients and helps to make sure that they're taken care of. So we have to support that. So this is a great way to utilize our apprenticeship pathways to do that. But I mean, and all the other support ways as well. You think about our technology, all the infrastructure at MD Anderson. There's a lot of opportunities. HR, there's a lot of opportunities for potential pathways to open up that aren't just healthcare.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because honestly, you don't think about that when you're thinking about doing some type of apprenticeship in healthcare. So you talked about the future apprenticeship pathways, one of an endoscopy. Do you have some more that will be coming our way?
Yeah, we are looking at sterile processing as a possibility. You guys have a great sterile processing program, and that's a high need for us. That's a area where you don't, it's not easy to fill those roles with people with those kinds of skills. So we've discussed that. We've discussed farm tech. There's a lot of programs at Charles Coleman College that really feed into things that we're doing at MD Anderson, and it's right across the street. It's really a perfect partnership when you look at the proximity and you look at the kinds of things you have going and the kinds of things that we need.
So how has the apprenticeship model served as an effective way of creating a workforce pipeline for MD Anderson?
Well, I covered that a little bit earlier, but I think that when you look at some of these positions, and I'll start with sterile processing. You post that position, you may not necessarily get a lot of applicants for that, or it might not be easy to find those people that have those skills. But with a partnership with HCC, we've got graduates coming out of that program that have had the didactic training. Maybe they've had some of their clinical training already. That's a great pool for us to reach into and find good candidates who are ready to start their careers, and hopefully we retain them. I mean, there's a 91% retention rate for most across all sectors for apprenticeship after the year of apprenticeship. So it is our hope that we retain them after they finish their apprenticeship, and we build a solid workforce with these entry-level positions.
Great. Well, thank you, Dr. Miranda Phillips, Program Director, Workforce Innovations for the Education and Training Department of MD Anderson Cancer Center. And we will have your information in our post after the show. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. It was great. It was great to speak with you.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Always love, when we say we prepare students for the workforce here at HCC, always love hearing directly from our partners who are offering these opportunities to students.
Absolutely. And MD Anderson is world-class institution. I mean, I sometimes I'm watching something and they're talking about their healthcare and they're saying, well, I went to Houston at this place called MD Anderson. And I'm thinking, wow. Now, I live so close to that place. I know what you're talking about. Who knew that it was that famous worldwide? So
yeah,
really
yeah, absolutely. I mean, even all the hotels around the medical center, you will find that people have traveled far to get to this level of care that's like you said, right at our doorstep here in Houston. So, and our students are learning from the best through our partnership with MD Anderson. Well, we're going to wrap things out like we always do with some announcements. Going to kick things off with there are free haircuts at Central. They are back and it'll be done. It'll be over November 15th. So you really need to get in and get that opportunity. HCC is offering free haircuts again Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Tuesdays, 9:30 to 2 p.m. on Wednesdays. It will be held at the J.B. Whitley building at Central Campus. Details will be posted after the show, and we'll have a number where you can get more details.
And home for the holidays, the game's afoot. 'Tis the season for the drama department, so they're gifting us with a mystery. It's December 1936, and a Broadway star known for his portrayals of Sherlock Holmes invites fellow cast members to his Connecticut castle for a weekend of fun. That is, until one of them is stabbed to death. And that is today, Friday, and Saturday, November 9th through the 11th, and Monday, November 13th at the HCC Stafford Fine Arts Center. And it's free, as my uncle would always say. That's the best price, free. And reservations are encouraged, so check out our post after the show for more information.
All right, it's the holiday season, and you're going to see that food drives will kick up around this time. For those that don't know, we have a partnership with the Houston Food Bank to not only on-campus food pantries, but also food distributions across our campuses. There'll be a free food distribution on Monday, November 13th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our A-Leaf campus. We'll be distributing the groceries courtesy of the Houston Food Bank. Just make sure that you bring your ID and arrive 15 minutes earlier to fill out an application. Details will be posted after the show, and it'll be available to faculty, staff, and students.
And coming up is HCC Sports Recreation Student versus Staff Game. And that is Wednesday, November 15th at 2 p.m. at the Northline campus. So come on and cheer on your fellow students or maybe your favorite campus manager at a friendly soccer match. Participants will receive a prize. So check out our post after the show for more information.
All right, and the I Love HCC annual giving campaign has kicked off. The fundraising campaign inspires our HCC employees to make a personal donation in support of our students. A payroll deduction is the easiest way to set up a recurring gift, and some giveaway drawings will be held later on. Check the post after the show for details.
And spring registration is open. So HCC, our spring registration is ongoing, but it also includes the popular mini sessions offered during our winter break. And all courses are offered either in person, online, or hybrid. Online anytime, which is no established class meeting times unless listed. Online on a schedule, meeting time is set and course meets online. There's hybrid lecture classes, meet partially face-to-face and partially virtually. In person is our traditional face-to-face courses with meeting patterns at various campus locations, and our hybrid lab and studio courses. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
All right, well, looking ahead, we will have coming up on Film Friday, we'll talk about a new film, A Town Called Victoria, and we'll keep everything in balance with Houston Area Parkinson Society No Falls Festival. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.